If that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
When we turned around, everyone was dead.
On this channel, we have reviewed The Lighthouse, we have reviewed The Northman, and last week we reviewed The Witch. I feel like we've been preparing this channel with each review for Robert Eggers to come to this point where it is now with Nosferatu. Yes, this is the remake of the classic 1920s Nosferatu with the guy with the buck tooth. He's like, bald head. Right. Through the shadows and stuff, silent film. The plot of the film still follows as it was in the 1920s. And we know Robert Eggers as a writer and director who is very detailed. As we explained in the last review of The Witch, he is a very visual storyteller because of his background in production for films. And in this film, it pops.
German Expressionism is known for the background matching our main character's emotions. Logic be damned. Okay, so if a person's scared, the background is scary. If someone's nervous, the background is uneven. Things look creepy and scary, and I think it's really cool. Back in 1922, that was like totally unique. These days, almost every film does some version of German Expressionism. But like you said, Robert Eggers really takes that dial and ramps it up to 10 to give us kind of like an old school, and I mean old school, throwback to Nosferatu. Super old school, man. By the way, this is not the first time Robert Eggers has done a Nosferatu production. He actually directed a stage play of Nosferatu, I think when he was in high school. So this is just like his jam.
That's just interesting. I didn't know that. This is not my favorite film of his. My favorite film that he's done is still The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is a freaking masterpiece.
Same.
Love it. Okay. Same. All right. Same. This is probably second, and The Witch is my third after seeing that, and The Northman is last. Now, I haven't rewatched The Northman since the last time that we watched it. I still appreciated the film. Now, I do kind of feel that he's pigeonholed and he's adapting the original Nosferatu instead of it being something that's like original.
Right. It's an adaptation.
Right. And this one, I kind of feel like he had to follow a path, and with The Witch and The Northman, we didn't know where that path was going, and it was amazing.
Now, I watched The Northman very recently, and that too is an adaptation. It's an adaptation of Hamlet. But like you said, I do think that is his weakest film, again, because of the whole Hamlet thing, and also because they use so much CGI in that film. And it feels very unlike Robert Eggers. But now Robert Eggers is back in his bag. The movie is smaller than Norseman, and it mostly takes place in one big castle, So things feel more contained, and you don't have to worry about things like exploding volcanoes and shit like that was happening in the Norseman. But Nosferatu translates, from what I understand, to the insufferable one or the offensive one. The actual villain, the actual vampire, is named Count Orlok. What's interesting about this, though, is that I'd always known of Nosferatu, but in my mind, I'd often confused him with Dracula. I thought he was just like a version of Dracula. But actually, Dracula came first in a book, and Nosferatu was an unlicensed knockoff. And because it was unlicensed, Bram Stoker's estate actually sued to get Nosferatu taken out of the theater and destroyed. And it was taken out of the theater, and they tried to destroy every copy of Nosferatu. Destroying silent films, it was actually very common back then. I think something like 75% of all silent films were destroyed. And ironically, because they failed at destroying every copy of Nosferatu, it actually helped boost the popularity of vampires. When Dracula became an actual film, it was a great hit, mostly because of the fake knockoff Nosferatu. All that drama feels strangely modern with copyright license and stuff like that. But this film itself also had its own hiccups and bumps. Originally, Harry Styles was going to play the main character named Thomas, and Anya Taylor-Joy was going to play his wife, Ellen. But when Harry Styles dropped out so he could make his album, Anya Taylor-Joy also had to drop out because she had to shoot Mad Max. So they had to recast this whole thing, and there's a big delay. And so now we got Lily Rose Depp and Nicholas Hoult as our two main characters. Nicholas Hoult plays a guy named Thomas. He's a real estate agent. He's up and coming. He just got his big break. Thank
Right.
God, because all his friends are rich. I'm talking richer than rich, baby. And he's like, I want to be like you, okay? And his boss is like, I'll make you like that. I'll make you a rich MFer. All you got to do is this simple thing. So easy. You come back, you'll impress everybody. You'll make partner at the firm. It'll be great. All you have to do is deliver some papers for this eccentric count to sign. By the way, the count lives in Transylvania. Where's Transylvania? Don't worry about that shit. It's going to be a journey for you, but it should be easy peasy. Get him to sign these papers, and you're good to go. Little did he know, Count Orlok is a damn vampire, bruh. And I found that to be really, really fascinating. And like you said, Robert Eggers is like fully in his visual act. The movie looks absolutely beautiful. When Thomas shows up in Transylvania, things are strange as hell. The citizens are like digging up bodies. It's weird as hell. And the Transylvanians are like openly hostile. They're like, get the F out of our country. And all that makes this like really great atmosphere, right? The atmosphere is really eerie and strange. The movie looks awesome. But this movie, to me, this is just my personal opinion, okay? I think this movie has one big flaw. Right. I think the movie's kind of cold. I was watching the film, and I gotta say, I didn't feel anything. I could tell by the music and by the shadows that I was supposed to be like scared, I guess. But I was more like just like combing my eyes are just kind of combing the screen. Like I didn't really feel anything in this film. So while I enjoyed the film and I thought it was a fun, throwback to like the silent film era, and I thought it looked great, and I thought Robert Eggers absolutely directed the holy hell out of this thing, I wish there's a little more drama.
I think yeah. I think I can feel you on that. Like as an audience viewer, you know what's gonna happen next.
Right.
You know what's coming. Not say even if you saw the original 1920s Nosferatu, it's
you just seen a movie before.
Yeah, you just seen it before. You're ahead of the characters that's in this film.
And I think it's because it's an adaptation, I'm guessing.
Of course, Robert Eggers' boy is in this film. William Dafoe, he is in here. He plays Professor Albin Franz.
Yeah, Dr. Franz.
He basically plays a guy who basically knows the mystic arts, and he is like a doctor of the mystic arts.
And they bring him in because Ellen is having these nightmares. But then Willem Dafoe shows up and he's like, she got a demon in her.
And they're like, huh?
it's like, what?
Everyone is like,
and I thought that was hilarious.
Nobody believes that, at this point in time.
And he's like, no, she got that demon.
Exactly.
Before y'all rip me apart, okay, I just want to say I liked the movie. Okay, I liked it. But the things that didn't work, it really stood out to me. And one of them was Lily Rose Depp. I'm like, is she a bad actress? I'll be honest, I'm going to give her a mulligan on this because her character has nothing to do. Nothing. She's allowed two emotions, and that is worried and horny. That is it, okay? Anything outside of this goes to another character. I guess she's the linchpin of this whole film because she long ago, the movie actually starts with a close-up of her face, and she is horny. Again, she only has two emotions, okay? And she's horny as hell. And she's like, yo, I just need someone. Anyone. She's just calling out to the darkness. I need someone to provide some comfort tonight, baby. And who answers but Count Orlok? And Count Orlok is like, yeah, me and you, we about to do that thing, okay? But not now. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. And in between that time, she's since gotten married to Thomas, and her nightmares have gone away. But now that Count Orlok is back, she's having horny nightmares, and she's very worried. Again, she only has two emotions. And she keeps telling Thomas, don't go up there. I've got a bad feeling. Don't go up there. But of course, he goes to Transylvania anyway.
Then she's having like these convulsions, and it's supposed to be kind of a mixture of a orgasm and a possession, and it just didn't come out right on camera. Now let me talk about the main guy here, Mr. Bill Skarsgård. I feel like he did disappear into this role. I did. Totally. I barely recognize him. He has a mustache that I kept on looking at. The mustache is hilarious, and I'm like, I can't take him serious. I can't.
The original Count Orlok, I never understood why he looked like that with the buck teeth. He's like a personification of a rat, right? And that's because Count Orlok is a metaphor for the plague. He's often surrounded by rats. He's often surrounded by dogs. These are animals that spread disease. There's long scenes of like a plague boat coming into the city, coming into Germany. The people seem to be really nervous about the grip of the plague. They even like do a very literal grip of the plague where you see the arm reaching over the city and stuff like that. But I think it's also supposed to be like a metaphor for like death. He's trying to combine like desire and death, right? So we often see Lily Rose Depp wearing virtually nothing throughout the film, or she's literally wearing nothing. And then they often cut to Count Orlok, who just looks like a walking corpse, right? Death and desire, especially with that last shot with both of them together in the bed. But yes, Thomas goes to Count Orlok's castle. He signs some papers, and then he cuts his hand. And Count Orlok is like, be careful what you do, you know? If I remember correctly, doesn't he like suck the blood? Is Thomas actually infected by a vampire, or does he just have the plague? He's sick. He's got chills. He falls out of the window into some freezing cold water. Some locals pick him up. They pray over him, and then he wakes up and he's just fine. The cut on the hand also happens in the original film too.
You know, Orlok being a metaphor for the plague, that's almost a little bit obvious, especially by the end. And then everyone is believing that this is a plague. Everyone in the city is believing this is a plague because Count Orlok gave these rules to Ellen saying, if you don't make this decision within 3 days, I'm going to spread a plague upon this city that you've never seen. and everyone's believing it.
Not only are they afraid of, you know, wild animals, they're also afraid of foreigners, right? When Thomas goes to Transylvania, they're terrified. They're like, get the F out of here. No foreigners here, get out. And then when he comes back to Germany, they're all nervous about this foreign and eccentric count coming to Germany. So I think this movie is about how a plague or disease can make you kind of xenophobic, right? This feels very relevant. And I liked that metaphor of the plague quite a bit. Ellen, a lot of her nightmares are dreams of Count Orlok, and her dreams are horny as hell. She appears to have some sort of a plan. She's like, I know how to get rid of Count Orlok.
Open up my legs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fuck him to death right here in front of this window. That way, when the sun comes up, he'll die, right?
I've only seen her in some HBO Max thing where she plays some pop star that was horny in that too.
Like, I'm not sure if this lady can act. I think her character was just thin. I have not seen the original Nosferatu, but I'm assuming all these tropes came from the 1922 film.
There's a shot in this film, I have to say, that is really freaking cool. It's where Nicholas Hoult is in this four-way fork in the road, and in the distance, you hear this carriage just come out of nowhere, and it stops, and the door of the carriage just opens, and no one's driving the carriage. And then it's just snow coming down, like a light of snow coming down in this dark wooded area.
And that brings up another motif in this film, and that is dreams versus the real world. In the beginning of the film, it's unclear whether or not our main character is dreaming. And then they cut and she wakes up in the bed, right? So there are moments here where you're like, you think it's real, but really it's just a dream. So I think this was a loving remake. I think Robert Eggers clearly loves Nosferatu. He remade some old shots, like the silhouettes of his hand really cool. Going across the wall. It was a loving remake, but a cold one. I just did not feel a lot in the film. The last shot is a close-up of Count Orlok's naked ass. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cool shot. And again, it really melds these themes together of death and desire, you know what I mean? But in the film, my audience giggled. In order to defeat Count Orlok, Ellen has to essentially kind of like break her vows with her husband. Right? Like, and there's even a shot where Thomas opens the door and they're in like a very sexual position. You know what I mean? How am I supposed to feel about that? I think I'm supposed to be upset, right? Because I like these two together. If you remove the mythological stuff, is Count Orlok just like Ellen's ex? You know what I mean? And he's like back in town. You know what I'm saying? Your wife's ex is back in town and, you know, your wife is starting to stray. Is that what this movie is really trying to tell me? I don't know. But it's kind of fun to work on that level too. You know? there's no point in this film where you'll be like, oh, this is just like XYZ movie. Bro, this ain't like nothing you've ever seen. Okay, it looks insane. This movie looks absolutely insane. And I love original films. I just wish this movie had more pathos. You know what I mean? More emotion going on with it. I never at any point got lost in the film. The movie was always at a distance for me. So I wish the movie could come a little closer, you know? The movie is still very good. I just wish it were great.
Right. And I feel the same way. I really did enjoy this film. Devin, you did enjoy this film. But more importantly, how do you feel about this film? Get in the comments and let us know what you thought of Nosferatu. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Continue to talk to us in the comments, all right? Continue to let us know what you feel about these films. And, you know, we really do like talking to you guys about it. But if you are new to seeing our faces, hit that subscribe button right at the bottom, all right? We are over 1,000 subscribers. We will make it to 5,000 with your help. Okay. If you did like the review of this film, please hit that thumbs up, all right? Or you can hit that thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion, but just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. See you in another video. Get rid of the mustache. Oh my God.